broadcasting from the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command.
Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
It's the Solo Sci-Fi Podcast. This is episode 15 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Michael Ball on the show, and what's this I can hear? There's someone beaming in from the far side of Uranus. It's Mr. Martin Fowler. How are you doing?
I'm in shock. Shock.
Every week I throw him through. I do this every week. It's really funny.
Do you know, I've got a photon torpedo in orbit right above you right now.
Oh, God. You're not setting your coordinates for my location, are you?
I'm trying to work out. I'm having problems with the technology.
Yeah, but I've got defensive shields, and I've also got quantum torpedoes, so up your bum. Nobody joking.
I'll do what they do in Aliens, and I'll just drop a nuke from orbit.
Oh, yeah? You're going to drop a load from orbit, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we shouldn't go there. Anyway, how are you? How's your week been?
I'm good. I'm going to be decorating. I don't know. I'm looking at flooring and lots of decorating and.
Oh God! Well, we're still trying to cut down a tree stump outside, and it's so ridiculous just to do this. But I was trying to use a huge drill bit today, and I did it, and it was so loud that my ears were ringing for half an hour afterwards. So it's all the fun, but apparently it looks like our only way to enjoy going outside soon will be just to be in our own gardens, private, away from other people, and with the coronavirus really kicking in now, it's going to be an interesting year. I was planning on coming to the States in August. It looks like that's probably not going to happen the way we're going.
Yeah, I've had to cancel holidays.
Yeah, which I'm really disappointed about. So. It's so far 2020 has been pretty shitty, quite frankly. So
we're only 3 months into it, and we've got a global pandemic on the loose. I mean, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, I know it's been.
I
know it's like something out of God. It is like something out of a sci-fi bloody film, isn't it? It's like I Am Legend or something.
We could end up being the Omega Men of Britain.
Oh God!
Do you know, walking around with a rifle and a pet dog, shooting vampires or whatever.
Well, we may be the only two survivors, but if we are, we'll have to still do the podcast and then just
of course,
upload it to nobody.
Yes.
And talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we're going to focus the show on a classic John Christopher novel from the 80s. Well, the show was in the 80s, and that was, of course, The Tripods, which did have a lot of influences with, I thought at the time, The War of the Worlds. And I'd love to get your input on this one. And we've also got some news, and you've also got a Predator versus. Do you want to announce who the Predator is facing up against this week, or do you want to save it?
I mean, this is a good one. This is a good one. It's a man who can swing from rope to rope at 100 miles an hour, can swim and beat up crocodiles, talks to the animals, wears a loincloth and a big knife. And
I know.
Ungawa.
It's Manimal. It's Manimal, isn't it?
It's bloody not Manimal. And he's that intelligent. He names his kid Boy, and he meets scantily clad Jane, who runs around the jungle.
Yeah, well, it can't be all bad for him.
Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
Was it? I thought it was Lord of the Apes. What am I thinking of Lord of the Apes?
Lord of the Apes. I thought Lord, right. Well, Lord of the Jungle.
Lord of whatever. It's all Lord of something anyway, and he's So great. Okay, well, it's your story this week. It's your concept, and I'll look forward to seeing what you come up with in a little while. But before all that, I think we should go into the Solar One Sci-Fi news. Here's the jingle. Here we go. Solar Sci-Fi News. All right, so this week we are not talking about Doctor Who because that is now finished. Although,
thank God.
No, you liked it. You said you liked it.
I did.
Okay, well, it was all right. Although I hear that the current companions are all going. Apparently, that's the latest rumor. They'll be in the last episode they filmed, which is the Revolution of the Dalek, which won't be released till 2021. If so, fair enough. Doctor Who's always about moving on, and like I said, I don't mind these characters, but some of them have been a bit lackluster, haven't they? So it's a bit, apart from the older. What's it? I'm sorry, I've gone blank with all their names. Graham. Graham was cool. I like Graham, but I didn't like. Yaz is all right. And then what's the other one? Ryan. Ryan's about as significant as sitting on an ant or something. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of the companions, but we'll have to see how that goes. So the other big things this week are they just announced that there's going to be on Netflix, which we sort of suspected, but it's now been confirmed, a third season of Lost in Space. My family are just watching it for the first time right now. We're in the middle of season 1. Very, very good series. Watching it the second time, it's actually better even than the first time. Very good series. It's not on the levels of shows like The Orville for me, but it's a good solid series. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that they're going to finish it off with a third season, which is excellent. Other news, of course, is the latest episode of Star Trek Picard, which, of course, us two. What do you tell me what you thought of the last episode with bringing back Troy and Riker? Plus, they got a daughter and all the other things that happen in the episode. What do you think?
I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to see them two, and it was quite sad that they'd lost the kid as well.
Yes, that's right.
I found that quite interesting. It was really sad. It was just nice seeing them both.
And it was also, the kids were named after episodes before. I can't remember, something Riker, the son was named after the ancestor of Riker that we heard about Q saving in an episode of Voyager. Yeah, that's it, you know better than me, which is a nice little link there. And I think the daughter was called Kestra, which was named after Deanna's sister that died in an episode where before she knew that she had a sister with Loxana Troy back in the last season of The Next Generation. Was it Kestra? I think it was Kestra.
I think it was Kestra, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a nice little tie-in. Other things which were good, of course, the other big surprise, Hugh. Hugh was killed off.
I can't believe that. I just thought that so like lob knife at his throat and he was dead, and I thought, I like you.
I know, I like you too.
Why are you killing him off?
I like you too. Oh, you mean Hugh? Sorry, I'm joking. I'm in a silly mood.
God, we've got a worldwide pandemic and you're in a silly mood.
I know. I've just done a funny call to answer as well for some people on the. So I'm doing all sorts of stupid things.
Toilet roll.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that thing I put on YouTube? I put on YouTube this two people fighting over. In Australia, there's a big shortage of toilet roll. We shouldn't laugh because it is serious, but in the end, what can you do? You know, you got to see it for the fact that it's here, and there are ways you can hopefully at least protect yourself to some degree. But these two women were fighting over toilet rolls, and it was just quite funny because if it wasn't for this thing, it would be the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen ever. Sorry, going back to Star Trek, it was a good episode, but getting rid of Hugh was a strange thing to do, I think, because he was a long-term character. I'm sure they could have done more with him, but like they did with Icheb the week before or 2 weeks ago, they killed him off as well. I don't
about Icheb.
I wasn't that bothered about him either, but I think. I don't know. Icheb's not the same as Hugh. Hugh had a much more of a big arc, much more of an impact in the two.
Hugh should have been kept around.
So I think that's a shame, but that's what's happened.
There's been a script leak of the final episode.
Oh,
I did Mr. H reviews. It was on 4chan. 4chan's a bit dodgy, but it might have been that it was in the early scripts. But you're not going to believe. I don't know if I should tell you.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, go on.
I could be wrong.
Go on.
Well, are you sure?
Yeah, because I'm not.
For this.
Well, okay, let's guess. All right. So
it's about Rios. Oh. You know Han Solo.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, go on, because I'm not that man on the character. Go on.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go on.
Need a drum roll now.
Oh, it's mixed in now. You're hearing it now. Go on.
Okay. Are you sure?
It's drumming. The drum roll's going.
All right.
Go on.
Right.
Go.
There's been a final one-page script read from 4chan. I cannot confirm this. But on the final episode, after whatever's happened, right, you know the cyberneticist and him,
Bruce Maddox,
in love with each other. Yeah. Well, they've got a thing for each other.
Oh, God.
You know, the cybernetic, when he drops her off back at Earth.
Oh, you mean the blonde woman?
Yes,
yeah. The one that
killed Bruce Madden.
The slapper one, the bit of a slapper one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they've got these over intense feelings for each other. And she says, come down and come live with me in Osaka in Japan.
Right.
And he said, I can't. And he turns around and says, EMH, please switch off. And he vanishes.
He's an EMH?
He's an emergency command hologram.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Are you sure you? Well, I did ask you 3 times.
Well, no, hang on. We've already seen what we. No, actually, I quite like that. No, I don't mind. But first of all, that makes sense. That can make sense. Because the others, they've had an ECH, and you've had all different EMHs with different characteristics, and he's an EMH himself. I don't mind that. I could live with that. I think that I think that's a good thing. I hope it's true.
He said he can't go with her, but how did he beam down to that planet in disco clothes?
Because he's a mobile emitter, surely.
Oh, they must have replicated the technology then.
Yeah, he's got a mobile emitter which you just don't see, or it's like it's on a badge or something. We don't know what it is. It's like the proper EMH mobile emitter. You could do it.
So he's a solid like Rimmer. He's a solid hologram.
Yeah, but obviously Rimmer has a light B, and this one has the mobile emitter somewhere. I mean, in Voyager we had 1 or 2 episodes where the Doctor hid his EMH.
Yes, he did.
Under his clothes, so he could still get off the hologrid.
This is no speculation.
I don't mind that. I wouldn't be that bothered. I mean,
all right.
Well, how do you feel about it? Would you be disappointed?
I found it. To be honest, if it's true, it's on Mr. H reviews. If it's true, I find it interesting because what's happened to the real one?
Oh no, we have seen this one. We have seen him drinking and stuff. So,
yeah, but
can he? Yeah, but well, that's what I'm saying. If it's a solid state, a hard like hologram. Sorry, that's Rimmer. EMH rather. Can they ingest food? Because obviously they can't consume it. So surely it would just sit inside his artificial light interior, and it would have to be removed. Sure, I don't understand.
Well,
I don't know.
Apparently, the emergency command hologram kicks in if like the captain dies.
Oh,
they must have brought it in, but that's what he is. That's what he is, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, I think if this is true, it's a great twist and a great way to have you kicking the table over and shouting and bawling. I think it's great.
Yeah, I could live with that.
I'm not spoiling it for you because they said it could be when they were writing the series. This was one of the ideas, but there is a 1-page script. I've seen it.
But like I said, I'm not into this as much as I thought I would be. I said to you last week. So, that's fine with me. I actually think that's quite a clever twist. So,
I think it's genius, to be honest.
So then it would just be Picard with the slapper scientist lady, and the druggy one. So I don't know all their names for some reason. Their names.
No,
Raffi's the alky, and what's the scientist woman called again? Because you see, her character.
I forgot her name. I forgot. She don't do nothing for me.
No, she doesn't much for me either. Quite frankly, I mean, she's I wouldn't say no if I was desperate enough, but I mean, she. but she. The thing is, you see. Well, actually, they in their defence, they have said this. Her characteristics at the beginning came across as a slightly naive, kind of slightly nerdy scientist, but then she had that mind meld, which has changed her a bit. So that's quite. I actually don't mind that so much, but it's interesting because I was watching a clip this week on YouTube, and I was meant to send you a link of it, which is what some people, including me, have about the differences between the Rick Berman Star Trek universe and Gene Roddenberry universes, which were pretty similar, and the post-2009 CBS. And it just said about the elements of how 24th century civilization isms of humanity seem to have completely altered. Even based on the DS9 war, when they were fighting the Dominion, they were still... Even though they did some dark things, they still felt like 24th century enlightened humans under a difficult situation. Whereas my issue is that the people in the 24th century, all right, not so much Riker and Troy, but other characters, they don't feel like they feel like they're 21st century people who are living in the 24th. It's just something is not quite there for me, as I've said before.
Well, yeah, why would Vulcan wear sunglasses?
Well, I think I came up with an idea about that, and I think could be a strong possibility. What if she's from the Mirror universe, where they are sensitive to light?
They can't do that.
Yes, they can. They've been to the Mirror universe before. They did it in DS9. They did it in Enterprise. They could.
Yeah, I know, but in DS9, the Terran Empire was destroyed, wasn't it?
Yeah, but actually, did we see the Romulans in the Terran Empire in DS9? We didn't, did we?
No, they were just mentioned. They
were mentioned. We never saw them, so we don't know in what context they were.
All right, that's right.
I get quite passionate about this.
All right.
All right. So, what do you think about her glasses then? Because there must be a reason why she had glasses.
Well, don't they have another eyelid or something?
That's right. They've got more barrier between strong light than humans. Yeah. They've got an inner eyelid which closes if there is too bright, like a reflex.
Yes.
So yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Unless they just did it just for not even thinking why they did that. I don't know.
They probably forgot. You know, when they were writing, they probably forgot.
Yeah, I don't know.
They mentioned in one episode, isn't it? Oh no, it's mentioned in Enterprise actually. When they go to Vulcan, I think T'Pol mentions it.
Yeah, they did.
So they should have remembered it. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, you see, what they need to do is like Seth MacFarlane wants to run it, and of course he's been trying to get the rights to it and stuff. You need Star Trek fans to make Star Trek, I think, in some ways. And
I think they should have a team of fans.
They should have an input.
They choose them off the internet and bring them in for a week and band ideas around with them.
Well, do you remember in the back to the Berman era, they used to actually take submissions of story ideas?
They did.
Some fans
did a few.
Some fans actually got some of their ideas made into real episodes. How fantastic was that? Can you imagine that as a Star Trek fan? Coming up with an idea.
They were the only TV programme at the time that was open to getting scripts from out there.
But I think you're right. I think they stopped it after DS9. I don't think Voyager or Enterprise did it. I don't know. I don't know about that.
But I think they should open it up again, because somebody out there loves some crazy, cool ideas.
Well, look at Star Trek Continues, which you and I were huge fans of that series.
Oh God,
fantastic story ideas. It was so good.
I know. And it was how Star Trek should be.
Oh, it's brilliant. And like I said, now I really feel that they finished off Star Trek and linked it up with the motion picture, and it's wonderful. I love it. I absolutely adore it. I wish they could have made more, and I just wish that CBS aren't so hard on the fans. You can't even make fan films anymore now unless they're like 10 minutes long.
Well, they came down over the Axon House scandal, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that was a bit dodgy, all the money that we're getting.
Yeah, it was. But I did like the 20-minute thing.
Well, that's still going. They're still working on it. They're filming it.
It's out this year.
And I donated 20 quid to Axonar about 15 years ago.
I sent a tenner.
Yeah, still waiting for it. I know, bloody hell! It's before my kids.
I sent 20 quid to Star Trek Continues.
Oh, I never did that. No, I wish I had done. No, I mean they almost did what they wanted. I think they were 2 episodes short from what they originally planned before all the rules came down, and luckily they got the chance to finish off the last 2 before it all sort of before the shit hit the fan, and that's really good because it was just so good. And actually, I'm going to give a few of those a rewatch. Actually, I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so like I said, CBS has changed things. It's it is interesting. And I do think I probably will like it more the second time round. I tend to be quite a tough crowd when it comes to new things. Apart from certain things, like I said, the Orville, I loved it from episode 1 or 2. I was clicked.
Oh God, yeah.
And then the Mandalorian as well. So it's not everything, but as I say, we've got Star Trek. We've got Star Trek Discovery coming back this year as well.
Hey, it's out in April.
And so, yeah, I mean, before we move on to other news, because there's one other thing I want to talk about. Is there anything else in the Trek universe you want to talk about before we move on?
No, discovered nothing. I think that's it. I mean, there was the big leak. If it's confirmed, I don't know. But I know where you're going next, and I'm looking really. There's something you said to me today in the message. I didn't notice that. I'm really fascinated by it.
Oh, is this Red Dwarf we're talking about?
Yeah. The race of cats.
Well, what a fantastic idea. I had no idea, because we did see one other member of the cats in about episode 3. He was still on Red Dwarf. He was the last person apart from the normal cats who was there. All the rest had gone off. But apparently, and I think you kindly put this on your page, which is where I saw it, we're going to see some cat people who are going to worship Lister as the cat god, and that goes right back to about episode 1 or 2, where he was Cloister. That's right, he was Cloister, wasn't
Cloister,
he?
And
you had the two sects where one had red hats or something, and one had green. And I can't remember the full story, but Cloister was their god, and we're going to see some people. And already. And it looks like it's going to be less comedy based from what I saw for this very brief teaser trailer. It looks more like just a genuine normal sci-fi series. It will have the comedy, but it looks great, and I can't wait to see it.
It's a 3-part or a 90? Because I read something about a 90-minute special.
I think it's a 90-minute special. It's not going to. It's a bit like a. But whether it's 90 minutes or whether it's 90 minutes including adverts, I don't know. The last time they did this on Dave, it was 30 minutes. It was the actual 30 minutes length that they actually included adverts as well. So like the actual length of the actual episode, including adverts, was something like 35 minutes or something. So I think it's probably will have a 90-minute special mini, like a TV movie kind of thing, which would be brilliant.
Yeah, maybe they're finishing it off now. Maybe this is the final.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, the last episode we saw, which was really good, we saw Rimmer going to different universes, and Holly came back, and we saw him go back to his original bunk room right from series 1. And I thought to myself, if it just ends there, they never got home, then that was a great way. But this sounds really exciting. I think that they'll probably leave it open. But I don't know. I mean, it might be all the actors are saying, well, look, okay, we've done good here. It's been on for something like 32 years. Let's finish it off with a special. I don't know. I know Holly's back as well, apparently, as well.
Well, I think, I mean, I mean, they've flogged the life out of it, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they have.
I mean, I don't think there's, I mean, I do watch it I'm a big fan of Red Dwarf.
Me too.
I'm sort of floating in and out of the new series. I wasn't a big fan of TV specials when they did them, when they went to Coronation Street.
That was back when I didn't mind it. It was a step down in gear. A lot of people hated season 8, where they actually recreated the Red Dwarf crew and the ship was recreated. I didn't mind it. I don't think there's any particular part of Red Dwarf I've not liked. It's just Red Dwarf. It's just the boys from the dwarf. It's mad. They're losers. I love it. I love the whole concept of it. I love the dynamic. I love the actors. And it's been. I remember watching it when I was it's about 88, so I would have been about 15, 16. It was on BBC Two. I remember it.
Yeah,
and it was about 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock on a Monday or whatever it was. And I think by episode 1, I was completely hooked. And I've been hooked ever since. It's been such a long-going series, and even the most recent ones they've had the moments as well. So yeah, bring it on. I hope it's going to be good. But it would be nice in some ways if they did get home, and that was the end, and then that was a full story. But you and I, we have no idea whether that happened or not.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. So yeah, bring it on. I think it's on in April, isn't it?
I think we're very close to it now, because that's why they're advertising it. I think it'll be Easter weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll do a special focusing on Red Dwarf. What we could do is, when that's released, we could do a focus of the week on Red Dwarf? I don't know. Cause Red Dwarf...
I'd like to cover from episode 1 to where we are now. It'd be interesting.
So we could do that before they've released that, and then we can do the news focus on the episode and discuss what we thought about it. So yeah, all right. Well, we've got a few things coming up. We're doing tripods today. What are we doing next week again? I can't remember what we said now. What did
the Invaders.
Oh, yeah. Was it the Invaders? Yeah, fine. We'll do that next week. Brilliant. So, at least people are getting an idea of some of the focus of the episodes to come in the weeks forthcoming. Any other news you want to share?
No, I think that's it on the news for me.
Okay. I'm trying to think of anything else I've come across which might be worth sharing. No, I think that's it. So that's fine. Let's move on and go to our focus of the week. Here's the jingle.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi focus
of the week.
All right, so this week we are focusing on a great series which came to a abrupt end in about 1985. I think Series 2 was. It was in the. It was a British show. I don't know whether it was that well known abroad, but it was quite big when it came along. It was, of course, the tripods. Tell me what you thought about the tripods when you first encountered
them. Tripods is very personal to me.
Me too.
I don't know what it is about tripods. It just drew me in. Like when it were on for Saturday, I remember seeing adverts for this big claw.
Yes.
Picking up this
man.
Kid.
Yeah.
And then when I saw what an amazing soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And the opening credits was just incredible.
Yes, it was good. And I remember the Radio Times coming out with a tripod on the front of it, and I actually what I did is I cut the front cover, and I used to have this cork board when I used to live with my mum, and it was up there for about 5 years of this tripod saying, and it says something like, the tripods are coming, and it was just...
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, God, and I don't think I've ever been more upset when I heard that the tripods was cancelled in Series 3. Before we go into that, let's give a quick Wikipedia information for people who aren't aware of it. So
can I just say that the thing that did it for me was when it just started on that second, it was like Earth 2099, and then you saw a horse and cart.
Oh, I know.
And you were in the future. Why is there a horse and cart?
And it looked like it was something like out of the 18th or 17th century. I know. Let's just give it a... So it says The Tripods is a television adaptation of John Christopher's The Tripod series of novels. It was jointly produced by the BBC in the United Kingdom and Seven Network in Australia. The music soundtrack was written by Ken Freeman. Series 1 of The Tripods broadcast in 1984, which had 13 half-hour episodes written by authors of many radio plays. Rick Rowe covered the first book, The White Mountains. The 12-episode second series, 1985, by Christopher Penfold, covers the city of Gold and Lead. Although a television script had been written for a third series, it never went into production. The first series was released in both VHS and DVD, series 1 and 2 on DVD in March 2009. The series introduced many minor changes from the book, notably the shape of the masters and tripods, which have tentacles, although the tripods do have a mechanical claw arm they sometimes use. In the book, the Black Guards were introduced to serve as a tangible human antagonist, as overuse of the tripods themselves would be expensive to film and undermine their dramatic presence. Gravity inside the city, the Golden City, was increased artificially, which is not mentioned in the TV series. The introduction of the introduction of the Cognosks, spiritual life forms vastly superior to the masters themselves, and other main characters, including love interests for both Will and Beanpole, were introduced. The original texts have few female characters. John Christopher was asked about this in an interview, replying that at the time of the writing, he generally accepted that girls would read books with boy main characters, but not vice versa. He also stated he felt the addition of the entire family of girls in the TV series was somewhat over the top. So it doesn't actually give the actual explanation of what the series was. So just to quickly say, it was a series, as you've already said, set in the late 2080s, I think it was. And it starts off, which looks like almost a medieval village with these people, farmers, horse and carts, no electricity, no cars, and it starts off with a young adult, and these people gather outside, and they say to him things like, "Oh, it's your big day," and he's nervous, and then suddenly we hear this big clumping sound. And then suddenly this mechanical machine tripod comes along and picks up this boy, and he stays in the tripod for about an hour, comes back, and then he gets taken down and he takes his hat off, and you see this weird metal cap which is almost fused to his skin. And as we learn from the series, it is basically humanity's been taken over by this alien race who can't breathe our air. They move around in tripods, which are like artificial platforms, and they control humanity. Humanity is capped, and they are kept to a very minimal mental, technological level, so that they are subservient to the masters, and they do their bidding while the masters themselves are planning on terraforming Earth and making it their own. And it features 3 young adults who are about to be capped. They come across somebody who isn't capped but is much older and tells them of the free men, a place where they can get away from the tripods and actually be people and learn about technology that humans have done in the past. And it's a wonderful, wonderful series. It is a series where it is truly unique. The first season, it's about the 3 boys getting away from the UK, going to France, starting to go through Europe, trying to get... And they have all series of adventures and things like that. The second season, they get to the White Mountain, and they then want to go to one of the tripod cities, which is called the City of Gold, where they want to infiltrate and learn about the Masters. The Masters are the alien people who live in there. And it's just a really, really great series. But it ended up on a cliffhanger in season 2, and then Michael Grade, the fuckhead, dropped the bong on the actual... dropped the ball, whatever the term is, and cancelled it. And that was basically how it went. What else do you want to say about the tripods? What did you think about it when it was cancelled?
I've read... Right, did you know there's another book?
Yeah, I read it. It's fantastic.
Oh, you've read The Coming of the Tripods?
Oh, no. Sorry, I keep forgetting about it. I read the 3rd part of the original trilogy. I've not seen, and you mentioned this to me the other week, The Coming of the Tripods, I've not seen yet or read yet. I'd like to see that.
Right. The TV series, in some respects, is slightly superior to the book. They added more with the Masters.
Right.
Like do you remember when Will was in with his master? He had a bit of a benevolent master, didn't
yes,
he?
the master was actually quite nice.
Why they had to take over Earth, that we were going to merge with technology and become superior to them, and they had to act because we were warlike.
Did the original book have the... Because I like the one in the first...
No.
But in the first season where they get stuck in Paris and they sort of like find old cars and stuff, I don't think that was in the original book either. I can't remember.
I think it is when they're in Paris, yeah.
Oh, is it? I can't remember that bit.
Yeah, but that connects into the new book, which John Christopher wrote a few years ago. He wrote I'll go into that after.
Yeah, okay.
This. First book, you should buy it. It's worth the read.
Yeah, I'll look at it on a website and see if I can download it or buy it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not the old thing. I mean, the first season was like a boys' adventure.
Yes.
You know how when you were growing up, there were all these boys' adventure things. It brought that spirit out in you, but in the background was this thing that it was there. It ran the world, and they had to find these free men, Ozymandias in the mountains.
Ozymandias, King of Kings, wasn't he?
Yeah, King of Kings.
That's it.
And Julius, the leader. And the Black Guard as well. Like they're quite scary, the Black Guard.
Although, as I've just read, the Black Guards were featured more on this TV adaptation because it was expensive to see the tripods. And that's one thing which actually was not in the show's favour, that we didn't see the tripods so often in the first season. And a lot of people had an issue with that because they thought it was a bit like having Star Trek and not having the Enterprise or something, I suppose. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I agree, totally. The thing is with tripods, what we're fascinating about it, like when you get to the second season, it answers a lot of questions. Because in the first season, it's like, do you remember when they found them grenades?
Yes.
In the first season, and I think it was the final episode where they destroyed that tripod. And
yes.
Henry said, I saw something in when
looked
the
like
door
a face.
opened.
Yeah, he said he looked like a face. That's right.
But they ran off, and then you got these laser tripods that were vaporizing the air.
Oh God! When I first saw the red tripods with the guns at the side, I thought, "Oh my God!" I thought, if this series is cool already, it just got a lot cooler.
Yeah. But when he said I saw something in there, it was like mind blowing. You know, because I when I was watching, I thought, "Good God!" Then we had to wait till season 2. And season 2 was superb. I know there's some funny bits like the blue parrot barn, I didn't mind that. The black guards with the moustaches and, you know, and the leather. I mean, I saw the cult
I never
tripods.
Thought about that. I never thought of like in a gay bar or something.
The thing called the
pink parrot,
blue
parrot. Yeah.
And a lot of the writers said we never really thought of it that way.
Do you know what? What's worrying? Well, not worrying, but what's surprising is I never really thought about it being a bit like the Blue Oyster from Police Academy or something.
Yeah. And the black guard, while leather and had whips.
I've got the Blue Oyster music playing in the background there, by the way. But
I'm being serious.
The Blue Oyster, yeah.
I'll send you after this. I'll send you the Cult of Tripods. The BBC made a tribute to it a few years ago, and the talking to writers said, "Well, the producer said we never really thought about this at the time."
Oh God, it's a Blue Oyster, isn't it?
Because when I watched it, I didn't think about it.
But it even sounds so similar. The Blue Oyster and the Pink Parrot, and they were made about the same time. Oh, they got that from Police Academy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm fading out the music
now.
The
black guards are all in leather and they're carrying whips and they've got moustaches. You know that stereotype.
Yeah, well, I have faded out the music now because that's a bit much. But yeah, I never thought about that. That's amazing.
I'll send you Cult of Tripods straight after this. It's only half an hour long. It's very good.
Okay, brilliant. But I liked the actual, going back more serious fact about as a review, I liked the Masters City. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh God, yeah. On the Cult of Tripods, it showed you that the city was one of the biggest sets they'd ever built. That city. Yeah,
it was a good model. It was a good set. It was really good, and because it was so big, they could really zoom out, and it was still very sharp and very detailed, and it looked very, very real. What it did, especially for the time it was made. And you had these weird sort of travelator, sort of triangle sort of things that flew around, which sort of took them from different parts of the city. And then of course in the end, Will gets out on his own.
Some legs Fritz in there, don't they? Do you remember the German guy?
Well, what's his name? Fritz, that's it, Fritz.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be he started off as a real jerk, but he actually turned out to be a really good character at the end.
He did. I didn't like him at first, and he really grew on me.
Yeah. I think that's also what I liked, is the characterisation. Even though it's played by a lot of young actors, it was done very good.
All of was good.
I love it. I'm going to have to give the series a rewatch after actually just talking about it this episode. And then, of course, he finally gets out, and we see Beanpole by the riverside waiting for him. He's thinking about going home. And, of course, he can't believe he got out. And then, of course, he tells the story. And then they're back up, trying to get back to the White Mountain. And then there's some point they get stuck with a circus tribe for a little while. For some reason, they end up with a circus. And then eventually they get near the White Mountain, and then the last scene is that we see some ruins. We didn't see the White Mountain completely destroyed, but we see some destroyed human settlements. Yeah. And so he says, has it all been for nothing? It fades out, and then that was it.
Do you remember that weird, before music kicked in, just an episode, you got that slow noise coming in, music kicked off?
Oh, at the beginning of each episode, you mean? That's sort of like...
end of each episode, just as you got that sort of cliff. Like, I don't know the noise, but it came in quietly and got louder and music kicked off.
Yeah. I don't know why that was, or whether that's any significance or whatever, but no. But I remember my mum, because she's never been a sci-fi fan, she still says to me today, "You never forgave that Michael Gray for Tripods, did you?" And it's like, I think I cried. I was so upset. I was about 14. I was that upset when they cancelled the third season.
I
couldn't believe it. I could not. I still cannot believe that wanker did that. I still cannot believe it.
I sat there a year, like when it was on at the same time. I thought, well, Tripods must be on it next couple of weeks, and then it came out. It had been cancelled.
Yeah, but apparently, Blue Peter had an article about it where they said that they had started pre-production of season 3.
Yeah, on the DVD set, if you've got it, they've got the season 3 musics on there.
Oh, I wouldn't mind hearing that.
Yeah, that's all they did was the music for it. They actually built the sets and everything. That wanker cancelled it.
I know. I mean, that guy. I mean, the thing is, you see, it was so unprofessional because the guy hated science fiction. He made it. He actually did. He put his own personal dislike in his professional capacity. That's not right. He shouldn't have done that.
No, he shouldn't have done that. And the thing is, Tripods were getting viewing figures up like nuts. On a Saturday night, 10, 15 million people watching that. Families were watching it.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't like under the radar. It was big viewing.
Well, and also the second season, it really got in some interesting ways.
Second season, brilliant.
Yeah, I love the whole thing. Even like the Olympics thing where they're trying to sort of win, and you've got these tripods standing over the stadiums and watching them, and then they're the winners. And Beanpole sort of, I think he twists his ankle or something, and he. It's just such a good series. I just wish that. Do you think it'll ever get remade?
I would love to see it remade. Honestly, I would. I wish Netflix or Amazon would finance it, because I think, obviously, it'd probably be a bit darker and some would be different. But to bring that back, I think would be amazing. I really do. It deserves. But I think they've got to start with a new book now.
Yeah. Oh, you mean do it properly in the chronological order from the... Okay.
Yeah, the book's a prequel. You're going to be very impressed with the book, because at the end of the second season, when your life were destroyed and my life were destroyed...
Yeah, basically, yeah.
My parents bought me the book for Christmas. It was all 3 books.
Right. Which I got separately.
My mum bought me it, the Pool of Fire, the
Pool
final
of Fire,
book.
yeah, I think, Pool of Fire, yeah. Which was a really good book. I mean, if that had actually got made, it would have been a fantastic third season.
Well, I mean, if you take it, when they got back to White Mountains, all they did was relocate to another camp. That's all they'd done.
Yeah.
Because they sent expeditions into cities to get books to learn technology and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were preparing, and when he turned up, and they're not dead, they've just moved. And I mean, what a great start, because it's a war footing. In the third book, it's about the assault on them, because they've got the information now to finish them off.
And apparently we would have seen another type of tripod apparently as well. We would have seen black tripods or something.
Oh, wow. There was the mothership on the way to Earth to terraform the planet, wasn't there, as well?
That's right. It was like it was about halfway there or something from their planet or something. And they were going to terraform the Earth, and they were just going to keep some elements of humanity kept in like a special museum where people are kept in stasis or something, like a zoo or something. I don't know if they would have been alive or actually conscious, or whether they're just frozen or something, like statues or something. But they would have been there in a very minimal capacity as the original inhabitants of the planet that they had taken over. Great concepts.
They create aeroplanes, don't they, in the book, and the tripods turn the aeroplanes off. And then they capture tripod with them.
They do. That's right.
Get information out of him.
That's right. And they actually have a war. They do fight. They attack because there's 3 cities apparently. I think there was.
Yes, I think there was one on each continent, isn't there, where they beam the beams out to control the caps.
That's right. And so they sort of start a worldwide kind of resistance, and obviously in the end they do win, and in the end it's a happy ending. But
they blow the domes in the city, don't they?
And then all the air gets in, and of course all the masters die.
But heck, one of them dies as well, Henry.
That's right.
He blows the dome at the end.
That's right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've read it, but I recommend, if you're listening to this and you're not familiar. I don't think the tripod is on YouTube at the moment. It might have been on the past, but
it's still on YouTube.
Is it the whole? Oh, brilliant!
So, yeah,
excellent. Yeah. So check it out.
But there is a first book. It's called The Coming of the Tripods,
which I will now read, because you've quite a few times you've reminded me of this, and I never get around to doing it.
It's interesting because the governments of the world know about them. They turn up as tripods, and we defeat them the first time.
Right. Okay.
And that's all I'm going to tell you. And then while they move into the world, because that connection with the tunnel in Paris with the machine gun,
right?
I don't want to read the book.
I will.
Because
I will.
It's a fantastic. It's only a short book. It's about 200 pages. But how they take over the world and what they do, interesting.
Okay. Well, like I said, fingers crossed we'll get it. But my last question is: if they remake the tripods, would you want the BBC to make it?
I would. Well, after sat through with BBC recently. Yeah, I mean, what of?
That's what I was thinking of. Another series which featured tripods. Would you want to see them tackle this series, or would you want someone completely different? I
think I'd want Amazon or Netflix to go for it, because I think they could take it. So the money would go into it, and they'd really. They've created some amazing productions like Lost in Space, and I think it should go to someone like that. But I really do. I think they've got It either should be 4 movies, or it should be a 4-season TV series with 10 episodes.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And I think just going back to Red Dwarf, I'm actually glad that the BBC aren't doing it. I'm glad it's being done by Dave.
It's funny that, because I feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that if they did it on the BBC, it would be very good.
No,
and that's a shame. And like I said, I'm a strong person I do pay my TV license, I do, but I don't want to. And I just think that the BBC should now be as a subscription channel only, where you have the choice rather than you're supposed to pay it and supposed to because I just don't think their content is good enough for what they create. And that's my last word on it. Martin, thank you for that. Thank you for that review. Excellent. Any last words to it before we move on?
No. I think we covered tripods in quite a vast way.
Yeah, really. That's a good discussion about that.
So, yeah,
that was a good one. Thank you for that. Excellent. Right, excellent. So on that one, let's next go on to the infamous. Are you ready for it? Predator versus. Here's the jingle. Here we go.
Predator versus.
Okay, Martin, go for it.
Right, this is Johnny Weissmuller, Tarzan, Boy, Jane and Cheetah, right? Living in all the animals do, like the Flintstones, all animals do all stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Tarzan being a bit thick, finds a kid, calls it Boy, won't give it an age. We call it Boy, and Jane's like, just, ooh, like that with him. Jane's swinging through the jungle.
Sorry, how does Jane go again? Go on, carry on.
Jane's swinging through the... And she suddenly, a laser bolt shoots the rope off.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
There's a predator that's been hunting animals.
Ah, okay.
Trophies, kills Alan. And he gets hold of Jane and he's looking at her. He throws the scream out and predator knocks her out. Boy says, I can hear Jane. Tarzan says, oh, go on, stay here. So Tarzan jumps up onto the trees, Lord of the Jungle, gives the scream, all that.
Yeah.
Swings through the jungle and lands right in front near the Predator spaceship. But he knows he's being followed because he's got, animal abilities, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So the Predator starts, so he's impressed with this guy. He's got a big loincloth and a big knife. And the Predator's shooting laser bolts, but Tarzan can't see him, so but Tarzan senses of the jungle. Senses him. Tarzan gets his knife out and lays into the Predator. He just avoids, because he's very acrobatic, he's Tarzan.
Yeah.
Swinging around on ropes at 100 miles an hour, right?
Right.
Then swims across the river, because Predator fucks off and goes across the river. Right, and it's the other side. Tarzan, anyway, this crocodile comes, a big punch up between him and Tarzan, crocodile. Because he always went for the role, but you've got to get him and crocodile.
Yeah.
He gets out, and Cheetah's there, follows him. And Cheetah starts throwing shit at the Predator. Right, you know, Chase's laughing. You know, like throwing shit at Predator, and it's all like, you know, stuck on his thing. So Tarzan can see it, and he breaks a branch off and goes into the Predator's big fight. And Tarzan, because he's physically stronger, starts fucking pounding on Predator.
Right.
And rips its head off. What Predator's like injured, and it suddenly sends out a flare to call another Predator out. And Tarzan's like really lost it, you know, because he kidnapped Jane. And Jane's there, you know, running out, going, come on, there's another one. And Tarzan, look, there's two Predators. And Tarzan's there, pulls his knife out, because he's done other Predator. And he looks at it and thinks, I'm going to solve this problem.
Right.
And he lets out the Tarzan yell, you know, the, oh, you know, all that.
Yeah.
All the animals in the jungle. I'm on about every fucking animal in the jungle. All of them. Get together. The rhinos, the zebras, elephants, lions and tigers. Because he does this with this how Tarzan defeats his enemies at every movie. He summons all the beasts of the jungle.
Oh, okay.
And they all go on a fucking rampage, and the predators get squashed and the ship gets destroyed.
Oh, that's quite cool.
And Tarzan gets Jane, boy's there, and Tarzan stood there with Predator like helmet, just throws it on the floor. The Predators have been flattened because they're like big elephants squashed them. And ship's destroyed. Tarzan just goes, fuck it, come on Jane, let's get back for you know. And he swings off into the jungle. He is the Lord of the Jungle. And after he's done the doodads with Jane, he lets out Tarzan.
Oh, God.
Are you cringing now?
Oh, well, I've added.
Lights out. Well, the Tarzan.
Well, I've added some sound effects to some of this stuff already, as I always do. Yeah, I quite like that.
No,
that's good.
It apart. That's your job.
I actually think that, like I said, I'm not that familiar with Tarzan, but I know that, as you say, the animals. I think that's fine. I think that's really good.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, why not?
All right.
I think so. I mean, I could see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well done.
I'm right. You made my day. Right. Okay.
No, I think that's good. I think that's a good story. I'm just trying to think about it. I mean, I like the idea of shit, sort of, because I mean, in the original Predator, he used mud as as camouflage, so he could just stick his finger up his. Oh, no, okay.
Well, no. I mean, don't forget Tarzan were brought up in jungle with animals, wasn't he? So he's got all the animal senses, and if something seems like camouflage, he's gonna know it's there because you know he can sense it. You know, he's got like. And when Cheetah's there, Cheetah's an animal, he can sort of smell it. So it's like a dog starts smelling a Terminator, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
And so Cheetah picks up loads of shit, animal shit, and starts lobbing it on Predator. And it's like, because it's stealth mode, it starts fizzling in and out. There's like animal shit all over it. And that makes it easier for Tarzan to take out. And Cheetah's jumping up and down laughing. And like, you know, James saying, and when other predators come to help this predator, he just summons all the animals to squash them. Because that's what he does in every bloody movie. He just does that yell and suddenly the entire fucking jungle gets motivated. And, you know, all the baddies get squashed by the, you know, the rampage of the animals.
So how long do you take take you to think of that scenario?
3 days.
3 days? You're joking?
I watched one at films.
Oh my god!
I watched one. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so bad. I mean, it's a classic, but he's that 1930. You know when they used to speed things up in 30s.
Yes, there was a yeah.
No, it don't look right. It looks ridiculous, but it's funny.
It wasn't in right. The way they just couldn't get it to actually be like Charlie Chaplin or something. Really,
And when he's swinging through jungle and beating crocodiles up, it's hilarious. He swings about 100 miles an hour. I mean, you want to see his house? It's wonderful. He's there cooking dinner. They've got he's got an elevator up to house, which an elephant sort of pulls when you go up.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a big fan of Tarzan. I don't think. I mean, I think it's an interesting concept, but I do. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I like the idea of all the animals coming along and thinking, well, okay, well... But as you say, he was Lord of the Jungle, so he was Lord of the life forms around him. So, him coming across... Yeah, okay, I think that's a good one. Well done. So
all right, well, I'm happy. I thought you might have found some chink in the armour there.
No, I can't. I've tried to shake your confidence about this one and say, but no. I mean, I could see that. I mean,
3 days I worked on this.
Oh,
3
God.
days.
Really? I mean, when I did mine, it took me about 5 minutes.
Oh.
Last week's one was 5 minutes. So, but then we've got to think about a scenario for next week. So I can't think of anything yet. So we'll have to ask each other who's doing what for next week.
I'd like to do Predator versus Xena.
I didn't see Xena, so I can't do that.
All right, well we can't do that.
So unless you're up to bat again for a scenario.
No, we'll sit on the fence. Something will strike by next week.
Yeah, all right.
Tarzan versus Zoo. Predator versus Zoo. So 3 Predators died this week.
Yeah, that's not good, is it? It's there can't be many of them left now. So yeah, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, all right. I'm looking at my collection and trying to think of something which might think. Oh, we could do that. Maybe Predator versus.
It'll just come to you through the week. You'll have that moment of inspiration. You'll be somewhere, and for some unknown reason, it'll come into your head. Predator versus.
Yeah.
And you've got, oh, that'll work.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll be in touch. Excellent.
Right.
Thank you, Martin. Right. Okay. Where are we now? We've done about nearly an hour on here already, so that's fine. Anything else that you want to share with us on today's show?
No, that's it, really. I think that's it.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you for that. So next week we are going to be, I understand, doing The Invaders. The Invaders.
Oh, God, what a soundtrack.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I like to see that as well. I just think that's one of those rare series, but we'll talk about that next week. That sounds good. All right, Martin, thank you.
Yes.
On that note, let's leave with a song. I'm still looking for some new songs to add because... as each song is sci-fi based, it's getting harder. But I have found Fraser Hines, who played Jamie McCrimmon in Doctor Who. He sings Who's Doctor Who? Have you ever heard this?
No.
So this is Fraser Hines singing Who's Doctor Who.
When did he do this?
About 1965 or something.
I didn't know about that.
Well, you're going to hear it now, so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Martin. We'll be back next week with episode 16 already. And one last tip, people. Please wash your hands, be sensible. Let's all get through this, okay, people? And we'll catch you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. Thank you, Martin. We'll catch you later.
Yes.
He has a time machine to travel through the ages, to take a look at history. He simply turns the pages. He knows the prince of two and kings of two a penny. He never thinks of money, no, although he hasn't any. They all say, who is Doctor? What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who. So I ask you, who's Doctor Who? There's magic in his hands. You ask and he may show it. He simply elevates a stone where you want, I would throw it. He's been to yesterday and somehow we all follow. I wonder where we are today or where we'll be tomorrow. They all say, who is Doctor Who? Where is he from? What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who. So turn